Welcome to CEWT Talk. This broadcast is brought to you by the Continuing Education Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. This podcast is part of our continuing outreach efforts, and the format is conversational. We will be having conversations with businesses, professionals, entrepreneurs, community agencies, and, in all cases, difference makers. Now, let's get started with CEWT Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Jason Batalden, the Assistant Director here at Continuing Education Workforce Training, and we're bringing you another episode of CEWT Talk. So we're just so glad that you all join us, and we're just glad to be on. We've got a really special guest today who probably is an expert as much as hosting this as he is being and will be a guest, but we can't wait to get you introduced, Gary, our director here at Continuing Education Workforce Training. But before that, I'm just going to issue the challenge. Look, the three of us are the ones that, came up with this idea for podcast. We said 20 minutes. It's got to be 20 minutes because that's the hook. So we have got to set the example today, fellas. We just got to do it. So,
Sure.
All right. I'm all in. So with that being said, and our faithful listeners, and we're getting a little bit more every day, but we still could use some more. So please be sharing us. We all know what happens when we say welcome. And Gary, I don't know. Do we need to give you? I guess I'm going to give you a little bit just to introduce yourself, or should we just skip right over the introductions and go right into it?
No, let me start with an introduction.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Jason, and you're too generous. And Paul, thank you for being here and helping us keep straight. For those of you who haven't heard, this was Jason's idea, this thing called podcast. I can't even spell podcast, and it's taken off in such a marvelous way. It's a great way to do outreach into our community. And like the intro says, when you first come in, it talks about different kinds of people that we bring on. And so it's definitely community. It's definitely part of our outreach. It's definitely part of folks who are working out there trying to do a whole lot of good. So thanks to all of you who've been on. I enjoy going back and watching those and listening to them. Thanks to everybody who we haven't asked yet and you're being patient with us. This is a fantastic tool. I'm Gary. I'm the Director for Continuing Ed Workforce Training, and it's my pleasure to work with people like Jason and Paul. There's 9 of us here who are kind of the stalwarts. We employ a lot of students and some part-time workers, and all to bring to our community some continuing education courses. And those courses, it's amazing to me. I've had a lot of experience in training, but what we offer here runs such an eclectic mix.
Yeah.
Professional courses, development courses, hobby classes, things that people like to do, dance activities, camps, and online stuff. And some of this, it works by feeding into our workforce training courses. They serve as feeders into our College of Technology courses. Or for anybody out there who's just thinking of, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about what's in a college level class or something that's fun, and maybe I'll go to the university. It touches all of that. So it's a fantastic venue for us. There's a great team here that works in pulling things off. We have health courses. Raylyn Price, she heads up all of those and does a fantastic job on bringing a variety of classes like certified nursing assistant, phlebotomy, assistance with meds, EMT, CPR. Oh my gosh, those are popular classes, and others. And Paul, who keeps us straight with the video and the audiovisual side on our podcast. He also works with video with other folks. He's doing supporting orientation for new students here at the university, helping do all that video. He does off the wall stuff that we ask him to do. And he does all that while still managing a full-time job. He's our apprenticeship coordinator. And we really have a terrific program underneath Paul that is huge. I will talk about that in a minute, but that's an awesome program. And then we have Scott Stevens, who runs all our customized training classes to go out to employers in the community. trying to make them happy with their training needs, their upskilling needs, leadership, business organizations, things like that. And he does some marvelous stuff on the side, and that's huge. And then there's Shirley Hockett, who takes care of all of our continuing education courses, which unfortunately with COVID have had a bit of a lapse because of things we can't do. But she manages all that. She manages all of the conferencing and events planning that we do in support of others. And then she also helps us take care of our seniors, the lifelong learners with the NKAs and the FFL up in Idaho Falls, NKA here in Pocatello, the NKA in Treasure Valley. It's just a great mix. And we're fortunate to have some great support underneath all that. Aaron takes care of all our IT. Michael takes care of our finance. Penny, she does support with front office and everything else that's out there, our advanced opportunities programs. It's incredibly busy, and we're fortunate to have a great group here.
So, I know when you list all that stuff, Gary, I'm like, man, do we really do all that? And we really do. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going on. So you kind of hinted to it too, Gary. As the entire world has been experiencing, and in the United States, probably at least in our neighborhood since March. We've had the COVID-19 pandemic make its presence felt on our campus and in the things that we do here. And now we're not coming out of the pandemic at all yet, per se, but we are transitioning our department into our big year, right? The fall time. I mean, this is when certain things kick off. So that's my question is, how do we get through? How do we get through this summer? I mean, I got you on the spot, Gary. How'd we do? How'd we get through this thing?
Well, we had some downs and we've had some ups. Let me preface it by saying that everything we're doing begins with people and everything we do ends with people. So anything that impacts the folks in our community or us as an institution is going to affect our people. So the downs are, there were a lot of classes in the summertime that we couldn't run. They were face-to-face, they were hobby classes, or a lot of close organized curriculum that, it just wasn't feasible from a safety point of view. So we lost on those. And I'm sure we disappointed many people out there because we couldn't run their favorite class. But that's the reality. So we didn't do well with that. The upside is we've had to make some adjustments, just like everybody else is out there.
Right.
We've had to start figuring out how do we do things in a little different manner. We're fortunate in that we have a strong health program that has pretty good availability access right now. We have the strong apprenticeship program that is doing a lot of things with the internet, online streaming. So those areas were strong already, and we were able to continue them. For the rest of us, trying to figure out how do we do something that we've always done in a different manner has been the edge of innovation for us. More recently, Scott, in his customized training role, had to go down to Malat. He was asked to come put on some training down there for the city, and they figured out a way to do that and worked with the city to ensure that there were safety precautions in place, and they were able to deliver the training. With the things we wanted to do with cooking, like, hey, how do we make this flambe and things like that? We couldn't do those things because we haven't figured out yet how to do the Emerald Lagasse live cooking show, but we're going there.
We're working on that, though. Let's be candid. We're trying to come up with a way to incorporate some of those more popular classes, hands-on classes, in a way that's safe and yet still beneficial to all participants.
Right. Yeah. And Paul, who thankfully we have a Paul. The critter who's helping us run and put all this stuff together. He comes up with some really cool ideas. I think we can do this, and we are fortunate that we have a group of people who are willing to, like a dog. Annoys a bone and gnaws on it and figures out the best way to get into it. He turns it around and looks at it and says, well, we could do this, or we could do this. Scott does the same thing. You've been doing the same thing with all the marketing, Jason. I mean, my gosh, how can we do this differently? Right. That's how we got through things. And I'm looking forward to a fall where, we ramp up in a big way to many of the things that we used to do, but we're doing them a little bit differently.
Right.
I mean, EMTs didn't stop. They ran across the summer, but we had to make adjustments. That one's going to fill up again. The CNA courses, they've been going strong, but we're doing them a little bit differently. That's going to fill up again because there's a big need for health professionals out there. I'll tell you what, here's a cool thing for everybody. For anybody who loves insurance, or wants to take some kind of an insurance exam that you need to do to be certified, Scott is working on trying to develop an online prep course like for GRE, but for insurance, casualty, property kind of thing. And he's working with some really talented people to make this thing, really pop. Those are what get us through. Those are part of what get us through. The other thing is, we have to be a little patient with ourselves. We have to discipline ourselves. I'm the biggest violator of that. I'm always asking those silly questions and why can't we do this or what's this? And we have to discipline ourselves and be patient that things do take a little time to get better. They take time to prepare differently, but we will get there. I'm convinced, there's an end goal of this thing. It may not be the way it was, but we're going to get through this. We're going to have different possibilities, different strengths that SEWT can provide. And that's the exciting role. The disappointing part is I've got to be a little bit more patient in some of this.
Well, no, but I think you're hitting on something though that is always, of all the people sitting here or on this podcast this morning, I'm still the newbie, right? You guys have been here quite a bit. And I remember when I first came on, the thing that always impressed me was the adaptability and the flexibility that SEWT possess. In other words, a new need, not a new need, but maybe a need represents itself in a different way, or maybe there needs to be a different way to deliver the instruction or the training for that need. This department has always just been able to adapt and move and shift and do that. And I think COVID, of all the maybe the negative things we could mention, I think the one thing that we've experienced in the last 4 months now is that strength of ours has been really put to test. We've had some good opportunity to work it out. We've had some good chances to exercise that, right? Well, that flexibility.
Well, with our department, we are really used to problem solving ourselves and not relying on a lot of university resources and relying on our own created resources. So when this whole thing happened, I think we were probably one of the departments best in place to handle this. Right. Because we solve problems every day. We try to come up with different types of training all the time. If a company comes to us for customized training, we go, okay, how do we do this? So when COVID hit, it was just another, okay, so how do we do this? Mm-hmm. And I think for our department, other than the face-to-face classes that we just had almost, so much difficulty figuring how to get that, all the other classes, we said, hey, if we did this, we could still deliver these classes.
Yep.
Yeah. So right.
So with that being said, too, I'm sorry, Gary, but my question is we've gone through, and we're not done by any means. I'm not giving the illusion that COVID is suddenly now a thing of the past. I think we are, all not under illusion. But there's a great quote that I remember, the business of doing the work, right? We got to get the work done, and we're all in that same boat. No matter who you are in this society, in our community, in the nation, in the world, right? Work has to be done. So how do we go about getting that work done? So moving into fall, Gary, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to this fall?
I'm looking forward to a lot of success. That's what I want.
Yes, we do want success.
I want to see us offering a lot of courses that meet need, and two big areas for us. I've talked about them. Two big areas for us that we already know are in health. The demand for the health professionals, for qualified people with the training, is huge. It hasn't gone away. It's gotten bigger. And so I'm looking for, can we put more classes out there that touch on health in different areas? Mental health is one area that we were getting into. We were doing dementia informational courses. We were doing Hope Conquers ACEs.
Mental health first aid.
Mental health first aid.
We have a grief recovery class. Yeah. So we've got some really good, solid stuff coming this fall.
Those are huge. We got to keep building on those. And apprenticeship programs, Paul has a really good potential outcome coming here, and he's gotten a grant that's been approved. We need to let that process come through, but that should help us get another part-time person to give him some relief, but also help us expand on the apprenticeship. Because, he gets a lot of people who do come on and say, hey, what can I do? Or how do I do this? So if we can take some of that load off him and we can broaden our approach, that'll help. Bringing in some new kinds of apprenticeships too.
Yeah, we our apprenticeship program doesn't start until September, and I am already getting inundated with phone calls right now about, hey, can I register? And people are already approaching me. I'm actually having some companies call me about, enrolling their guys, and we're not even at September yet.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, and that's great. Can I just comment that for a little bit? I think that's encouraging for me to just hear that, Paul, not just from our point of view, but sort of the point of view again of, as a community, right? There's work being done out there, right? There are, construction is still in need. There's a need for journeymen in those trades of HVAC, electrical, and plumbing. And that isn't just a made up need, right? That isn't just because they got nothing else better to do. It's because there is a demand for that. And as, say what we want about all the other things that's going on. The reality is work has to get done. And, we in this country, that's, we, as a general speaking, maybe I'm getting too big here, but, we know how to work. We get work done. And so I'm encouraged to hear that, Paul.
Yeah. And Paul's so right. There's some new things coming his way. I mean, INL's got these major energy projects coming on. They have a huge need for workforce. The three of us, we've been talking about, can we do some pre-apprenticeship stuff for the apprenticeship courses, the programs? Can we split them all off? Can we do the customized training? What about combining things with the construction work and programs we already have over the Scott runs and construction combine kind of things? The opportunities there are just all over the place for us. And what we need to continue doing is exhibiting that streak of adaptability, flexibility, innovation, and patience, and work with those other folks who need this and find the ways through that help them get to where they want to be. Right. I mean, that's what we do is develop and provide the training opportunities for the people around us.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. And thanks, Paul, for all of that. Jason, you don't get enough thanks from me for all the marketing that you're doing, for the great cadre that you have there. What you call them, the marketing team.
I do.
Yes. That is so cool. The podcast here, the attention that you're putting out there about what we do across different social media messages. Oh my gosh, the catalog is going away, for this period, a short period. And I love our catalog, but you're coming up with other alternatives in the meantime.
Well, and let's talk about that for a quick too, right? So that catalog, which we love,
yes.
We do, we love it. That 30-page catalog. We're not printing that this fall, but we're hoping we're going to be sending. I just want to give everyone a heads up. Look in your mailboxes. There's going to come a little postcard that's going to have our logo on it, a little QR code, and please, before you throw it away, just scan it with your phone, and it'll drop us right on our website. You'll be able to search very easy any classes or trainings or programs that you're interested in, and plus it connects you to the website, so you always have the ability to subscribe and read to our blog, subscribe and read to our podcast, check out our YouTube channel. So just want to give everyone a heads up. I know the catalog, I think we are all disappointed there is no catalog. I mean, I'm disappointed there's no catalog. But I think that doesn't mean you can't reach us. I do want to say this though too, Gary, or at least give you an opportunity to comment on this. The things that we're doing to adapt the class and how we deliver, we're not making that stuff up, right? I mean, no, we've got some guidelines that we're following.
Yes. Yeah, we're following all of the guidelines that have been put out through Center for CDC, which goes down to the states, which goes down to the universities. The COVID response at this university is so, to me, it's refreshing. I mean, we're putting safety of our students and our faculty and staff first. So that's got to be it. So when we put on a class, those are the things we have to. That's the common sense stuff everybody's hearing. Wear your masks, stay socially distanced. If you're sick that day, don't come into class. Common sense stuff. And everybody, I think everybody, we are here in this office. Everybody does their part, and by everybody just doing that little bit, we can help have an impact. The greater impact comes from many littles that take place. So we're following those guidelines. We're trying to incorporate online opportunities wherever we can, and it's not excluding us from planning for the future. I mean, right now, Construction Combine is a spring event. It's on my calendar. How the heck are we going to do that?
I don't know. We got some time.
Are we going to do that?
We got some time this year to come up with it. Let's be. You know what I mean? We've got a plan now. We got a chance to plan, so that'll be fun.
And we got to work with partners. For those of you who don't know, I mean, we've had some great opportunities with some national partners, Home Depot, Association of General Contractors, AGC, which is doing a lot of fantastic work in the state, and others who are out there, homeowners, home builders associations. So, we need to wrap in other people to figure out how we can do this. And that's really the message that I think I want to leave this with, Jason. I said at the start that everything we're doing now, it's beginning with people and it's ending with people. It's how we work together is going to make the difference.
Gary, you're absolutely right, and I thank you. You know what? And thank you for that little reminder, right? Sometimes I'll speak for myself here, but we get sucked into the weeds a little bit, or get, how do we get this done or that done? And the reality is it's good to remind ourselves, put our head out every time and just kind of look around and say, wait a minute, there's people's lives who are being improved, opportunities are being given, training is making a difference, and we got to remember that's what we're in this for, right?
Yes.
We're in for those issues. So
Absolutely.
Guess what, fellas?
Did we make it?
Hey,
Yeah, now okay, confession time. Whose timer went off before mine? Whose was that? Gary! Gary! I knew it! Gary!
I don't say that anymore. That's not my job.
So, okay, folks, there's a prime example of the patience thing right there.
Sorry.
That was great. I was like, wait a minute. What happened there? Okay. I think we were like 10 seconds off, Gary. So I thought that was funny.
It's probably a little bit early, but okay.
Right.
We did good. You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you.
No,
hey, this is a good one. So, hey, let's not forget, check us out on our website at cetrain.isu.edu. That's cetrain.isu.edu. Check out our blog, check out our podcast. Hey, go on that little side menu button. It says programs, all programs. You'll see all class listings under there. We're getting this, the classes are opening, and I'm not going to say a date for sure, but I know next week. I think the end of next week. So actually that'll be when this podcast comes out. So yeah, so we'll have it perfect.
So around the same time.
Yep. When you hear this podcast, check out our website. All right, you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. Paul, don't forget to hit the stop record and don't let me hit the end button. Have a good day, folks.